Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the right amount of rant. My name is Rival, joined forever by my good friend Julian. Say hi, Julian.
Hello, everybody.
So this is a late in the week recording session. I was unable to make the Saturday one, which we normally record on Saturdays. I was unable to make that due to allergies and headaches, but we're doing a special makeup one, so this is going to show up a little later in the week than usual, but you will get one, and then you're going to get another one this coming Sunday, so just keep your pants on. Everything's going to be good, but we got some good stuff coming up. Today, we're going to talk about Valentine's Day. Valentine's
Day.
Yay! Woo! I hope you spent a whole lot of money for very little payoff.
I didn't.
We know you didn't, Julian. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Sonic movie. The Sonic movie came out on Valentine's Day as well, and I recently just went and saw it. I've got a spoiler-free review for that, and then we're going to talk about a topic that really pissed me off earlier this week.
Wait, wasn't last week?
Yeah, technically it's last week. Technically, yes. So a couple days ago, it pissed me off. So we're going to discuss a couple of things. We're going to discuss that. I'm probably going to go off the rails a little bit on that one, but hey, the podcast is called The Right Amount of Rant, so let's get into it. The very first topic is, of course, Valentine's Day. Now, for me in America, a lot of the things that we see with Valentine's Day is you got to buy your woman flowers. You got to buy your significant other candies and look at hearts and, oh, look at it. Oh, it's hearts and blah, blah, blah. What do they do in Argentina, Julian?
When did this day happen?
That tells us a lot. That was 3 days ago. This is we're recording this on the Monday.
Missed it.
Yeah, you did. That was on the 20th. That was the 14th. Excuse me.
No, the only thing I ever got was an advertisement for a sale for Valentine's Day, and that was actually pretty much it.
Okay, but let's say you're in a relationship and Valentine's Day comes around in Argentina. Is there any kind of like stereotypical stuff you would buy? Is it like, do you buy your significant others like hearts and flowers? Do you buy them a ham? Like exactly what goes down?
A ham? That would be,
dude, people like ham. Don't judge that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not judging. I would actually love to get ham on Valentine's Day. No, the thing is, we basically buy the flowers or chocolate or candies or flowers or flowers.
Wow, you're a real romantic. You're so out there with like all the different possibilities. So candies and flowers and flowers and flowers.
Yes, perhaps an accessory for the lady, but
an accessory like a jeweled bracelet or something to that degree. Is that what you mean?
Something that lasts for a little longer than just flowers.
Are there any commercials for like, hey, go to this diamond store and buy diamonds and stuff?
Hell no, we don't have any of those, and I'm so glad we don't.
Well, I wish I was in the same boat to a certain degree, because in America, they are all about like, hey, do you love your significant other, your partner, your husband, your wife, or whatever? You need to buy them at least $100 worth of shit.
Take her to a Subway.
Jesus, to buy a Subway?
Not a Subway.
Oh, do you mean the sandwich shop, or do you mean the Metro?
No, the sandwich shop. Because I actually kind of remember a commercial about that. Not from us, but from the States.
You are so weird. I have no idea what you're talking about. Oh my goodness. So no, it's like, especially for husbands, a lot of the pressure is mostly on the dudes, honestly, to get the significant other, their wives, their girlfriends, what have you, something nice. And it's like, hey, do you love your wife? Buy her this $1,200 ring. You're out of your fucking mind. No.
Yeah.
I'm not spending $1,200 to buy my wife a ring. I'm not doing it. No, that's just.
That is out of the question, man. That is madness.
It is madness. It is madness. And it's one of those things where Valentine's Day has become more and more commercialized. But I also think the American people are becoming like dull to it.
Hasn't it always been like this? All commercial stuff for all the events?
No, not always. Some things take off more, so people like grab onto it. It's like, well, it's tradition. I have to do it. So that's the kind of thing. I'm so glad that I'm with my wife. Do you know what I got my wife?
What did you get her?
What I got my wife, Gidget, was, drum roll, please. Absolutely nothing.
Nice. How much did that cost?
The same thing.
Woohoo!
Cost the exact same amount. And you know what my wife got me?
What?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
How dare she?
You know what? We were both very satisfied with our gifts. The reason being is my wife, thankfully, is very non-romantic, and neither am I. I'm not really into huge romantic gestures. I think they're overly cheesy. Like, I cringe myself if I see myself do really cringy stuff, so I can't do it. But, like, she's not. One of our first dates that I ever had with her, she was like, I hate flowers. Don't ever buy me flowers.
Oh.
I was like, all right, that's perfect, because I hate buying flowers because they're horribly overpriced.
That is a match made in heaven.
Yeah, it's a match made in heaven for somebody who's cheap. So, but
hey, like, it works. It works.
If somebody at work heard me say that I didn't get my wife anything, is like, oh, so you're one of those guys, are you? And I was like, bitch, you don't know me. Don't act like you know me. First of all, my wife doesn't like flowers. And I didn't go into all this because it's work and it's professional. I just walked away. But I did respond with, you don't know me like that. So don't. And I just walked away. But it was like, bitch, bitch. I love hitting the high pitches. I don't know why. It's like, you don't know me. You don't know the relationship and dynamic that I have with my wife. My wife doesn't like flowers. She doesn't like flowers. So I'm not going to get her that. We're trying to save up money. So I'm sure shit not going to drop $1,200 on a ring or a diamond of some kind. She doesn't wear jewelry. She doesn't like makeup. So what am I going to do? Get her chocolates?
Yes.
Guess what? Neither one of us needs chocolates. And she didn't want chocolates. And if I bought her chocolates, she would just turn around and share them with me. So
I was going to ask, what the hell happened with the candies I brought with for you guys?
Oh, they're gone.
Oh, okay.
They're 100% gone. So it's one of those things where it's like, me and my wife don't fit into that typical like dynamic of like, oh, well, she expects these and these and these. You know what my wife expects from me? To clean up after the cats. That's it. That's basically it. I got to go to work. I occasionally need to do laundry, or like 1 in 10 loads needs to be done by me just so it looks like I'm actually participating in the house. And, you know, she expects me to let her be the caregiver and the homemaker. That's what she wants to do. It's what makes her happy. She also likes working a lot. So she is very, very, very routine based. Like we've had arguments about like, hey, remember that thing I told you we needed to take care of and you said you'd take care of, but it wasn't part of your routine, so you fucking forgot? Yeah, that shit didn't happen. So, like, you know, it's little things. But, you know, we've learned to make it work. And she is like, holy dude, you have no idea. If you've ever met someone who's like daily routine is the exact same thing every day, whoa, you've never met my wife. She handles that thing with perfection. She is like a robot. So it's fun. She's very, I'm painting her with a very broad and negative brush here. I love my wife. I love my wife. So everybody shut up. I love my wife.
Yeah, I think she's amazing.
So the point thing is, if you participated in Valentine's Day, hopefully it paid off for you. I know that a lot of people are sad when they don't have anybody on Valentine's Day. There's no need to be sad. Valentine's Day is just a giant commercialized thing of trying to dig into the pockets of people who are, you know, in love or think that they're in love and they want to be this, that, and the other. Like, don't worry about it. Don't think that because you're single, you're less of a person. You're not. You're not less of a person at all because you're single. So don't think that. I used to think that. That's why I can actually speak to that effect, but it's not the case. You're not less of a person. If you think that no one's ever attracted to you, well, then go out and better yourself. Make yourself better than what you are. Do you and make yourself better and they'll come to you. Don't even worry about it. You got this, player or playette or whatever the term for a female is. Well, I know player is like the dudes. Julian.
I'll say player.
You know, chicks can be pimps too. You pimp it out, all right? So, ladies can be pimps. I'm not even going to sit here. I'm not going to. Ladies can be. Do you know what it means to be pimping, Julian?
To be
pimping.
To
yes.
be fit? Fitness?
No. It has nothing to do with fitness.
What?
Possibly. Fitness might but it's not like the act of getting fit. No.
Huh.
You don't know what pimping is? You don't know what it means to be pimping.
You gotta realize that you're talking to a guy from Argentina that barely speaks English.
You like I don't already know that. Why do you think I'm able to do half the stuff that I do? Because I'm able to ask you a question. You know, I have no idea. Because of you. That's the dynamic that we have. I get to explain stuff to you as well as by proxy to the audience. And I don't know if all my audience knows what. Yeah, come on, man. Stay pimping.
Stay pimping.
Does it sound like it's a negative or a positive?
It sounds like it's something that is positive.
It sounds like it's positive.
But it ain't?
No, it is definitely positive.
Oh, okay.
It's a positive. So if I tell you, Julian, man, stay pimping.
I wouldn't know what you're talking about.
Stay pimping basically in that effect just basically means keep doing you, man. Keep doing you. Stay awesome. That's basically what it means. Now, if you are pimping, you're doing an illegal activity, having women sleep with other men for money. That is to direct someone to pimp or to be pimped. Yeah, that's that. But if you just like, hey man, stay pimping. It's like, hey.
I'm just going to stick to the quote, keep it up.
Keep it up. That's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, expand your vocabs, man. Start saying just look at your coworkers and go, hey man, keep pimping.
Dude.
The ones that don't speak English especially say it to those.
Dude, I got my coworker telling me, come with me, but instead of typing down the word "come," he changed the O for a U and removed the A. So yeah, at this point, anything goes.
Are you sure he wasn't giving you a pass? Be like, hey, come with me.
The moment I just went there, I was like, "Sorry, man, I'm not jerking off with you." And he started cracking his ass
Did you
off.
actually say that?
Yeah, I did say that. Yeah.
Did you say it in English or in Spanish?
No, in Spanish. It was still laughing his ass off. So
no, jerk off with you. Is that what you did? Is that how you say it in Spanish?
No.
It sounds like I'm being racist.
No, the rule of applying an O at every single English word does not work in this one.
First of all, I didn't. If you're listening, I didn't put it at the end of the word with.
Jerko?
Yeah. No O.
Sounds
jerk
like you're calling someone up.
Off O with you O. So you see how the with didn't have the O? God, Julian, you think that everybody's white who's racist? Jeez.
What? I didn't know say that.
No, it's implied. It's heavily implied by your attitude. It's heavily implied, senor. Now, so for anybody who's like, man, Rival picks on Julian a lot, and Rival does, he's like kind of definitely more than borderline racist.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. You guys are right.
I do pick on Julian a lot, but it's our dynamic. Once again, it comes down to the dynamic. Julian laughs at the stuff, and I get to continue being basically a more than moderately aggressive comedian with a one-man audience. So it's fun.
I am the one.
And also, Julian knows that I'm bullshitting him. I know that that's not how you speak Spanish. He knows that I know that's not how you speak Spanish, and he knows it's not racist because I'm making a joke.
Hey, it makes me laugh, so I'm down with that.
It does make you laugh because all of those qualities that I just said, you know that I know, and I know that you know that I know.
Yes.
Oh, that's some brain chefs right there. But more importantly, you know that everything here was done in the sake of a joke, and I don't actually think that that's how people do it, and thus I'm not actually being racist. It's funny. So,
I'm not being racist. It's a joke.
It's a joke. Anyway, so we're gonna move on.
Yes.
So everything with Valentine's Day is hopefully you enjoyed it. If you didn't, sorry. If you had no ups or downs about it, hey, you're probably the biggest winner in that group. Because I know there's some people at work who, first of all, the person, I'm not going to name genders, I'm not going to name names, who sits like right next to me. Ooh. All about meeting with their, like they met someone in the office. And I was like, you done fucked up. You do not meet someone in the office and like take them on dates and stuff. You don't do it. Why would you do that? You don't do that. That's bad. That's a bad. That's a no-no.
How so?
Have you ever dated someone in an office environment, Julian?
Not particularly, no.
Have you ever known someone who dated someone else in an office environment?
I mean, they knew each other at some point, but no.
Okay, so here's the problem is that you're taking whatever, okay, at some point, no matter how good the relationship goes for them, if they start like dating, they're going to have fights. Yeah, and guess what happens when they have fights and they have to go to work and they're both there?
Yeah, they hate each other and then end up breaking up.
They're both still pissed at each other. Yeah. That's one of the things about, like, if I get angry at my wife, I can go to work and I can vent to my coworkers, or I can be in a space not with her and get over my issues and then come home and discuss them rationally as an adult. Now, if they go to work and they're both there, they don't have a space without each other. They don't really, they can't really vent to any of their coworkers because now you're starting rumors.
Yeah, now that you mention it,
it all goes downhill real fast. So I was telling my coworkers, like, I don't think you should do this. This is a bad idea. And they were like, yeah, but I'm trying to get laid. So,
oh, okay. There's no harm in that.
And once again, I'm not naming the gender of this person or the name or anything because it's not at all what you think it is. I promise you, it's not.
If it listens to the podcast, do they know?
Oh, yeah, they're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. Because I'm basically, there are two people at my work who they're like, Adam, if you didn't know, that's my real name. Adam, do you, what do you think I should do in this situation? And then I go, okay, well, there's multiple different possibilities. And then I discuss like the likelihoods of things and like, you know, the nature of their relationship with the other person that they're talking about and this, that, and the other. And I go, honestly, for the healthiest perspective, you should probably do this. At the very minimum, you should do this for yourself to keep yourself in a sane and safe position, you know, emotionally. And they go, oh, thank you. And then like they keep coming back to me for more and more advice. And I keep telling them, I want to get paid. Damn it. Start giving me some of them monies.
First one's on the house. Second one?
First one is on the house because it's fun. I like listening to other people's problems and they look at me like I've got all the answers and I go, this is where I thrive when other people look at me with authority and they go, I need help. And I go, all of this is theoretical, but
I mean,
don't fuck up.
Generally speaking, you actually do have the answers most of the times. You do know what to say.
Yes. And you know what the sad part about that is? And remember, I had a couple people who listened to the podcast at one point, and they said when I made the joke about how, like, oh, whatever rival says is true. Like, they were like, it's not always true. And I go,
yes man.
Yeah, the yes man, which is still one of my favorite endings to any of them. Like, I often re-listen to the podcast to kind of get a sense of how the flow and everything goes and whatnot. So I was re-listening to that particular podcast, and I had to keep rewinding it. I just had to keep rewinding it at one point, because at one point I told you, I was like, yeah, Julian, I need you. Like, I make up shit because I don't want everybody to just fucking agree with everything I say.
And I went,
and you
yes,
go,
man.
And you go, yes, man. I go, no, Julian, yes, man is bad. And you go, I know. And then I go, stop being one. And then you go, like, I started going off on some other tangent, like, related to whatever the topic was. And you go, no, you're wrong. I go, you shut the fuck up. You don't get to tell me I'm wrong after you just fucking agreed with me. So, like, that was one of the things that actually made me tear up crying. I genuinely, when I say I like this podcast, I literally do. I've tried listening to other podcasts recently. I can't fucking do it. Like, I've listened to podcasts with like 4 dudes on there, and I'm just like, I don't give a shit about any of you. None of you are funny. None of this shit feels like, if you're going to make a good, solid point, have passion with what you're saying. That's it. Make a passionate statement. Don't be so fucking wound up that you're reading an article off a page, which I'm going to be doing here in a little bit. But
yeah, but you're not focusing your attention on just reading the article. You're throwing your opinions as well.
I'm just basically going to rebut everything I'm reading in the article.
Oh, yeah.
So it's one of those things where, I don't know. It's one of those, what the fuck? What was the topic? Oh my God.
We were talking about Mars.
Valentine's Day. We're talking about March?
Mars as a planet. I don't freaking know.
The fuck does Mars have to do? What?
We just went so off board that we don't know where
dude.
we were standing.
You just rocketed us into outer space, and now I don't know where the fuck to land this thing. Oh, yeah, I do. I know where to land. You know where we're landing, Julian?
Where?
Florida. Florida man.
Heck yeah.
As always, one of the greatest things. I'm sorry about the weird tangent we just went on there. I have no idea what happened there. You know what? That's what you come here. Sometimes we just get off and we do what we want. But we know, when I say we get off, I mean we get off on a tangent. I don't mean we jerko off of.
Oh my goodness gracious.
With you.
Hey, let's call it right about a rant. We rant about stuff.
We rant about whatever the hell we want to. Walmart. Florida man. Walmart evacuated after Florida man found crawling through ceiling.
The ceiling.
The ceiling. Like the ceiling tiles and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Florida man found crawling through ceiling. This one comes from last year, November 20th. Pasco County Walmart was evacuated after a Florida man was found crawling through the ceiling. Deputies say the man... Why is it always the deputies? I almost rarely hear police. I always hear deputies, which is sheriffs. Deputies say the man refused to come down and had to be tased in order to be subdued. Yes!
Dude, that's actually dangerous. Whatever happens if the dude falls?
I don't give a shit. He got tased. I don't give a shit.
Just the facts. The facts.
This is for me. You need to understand is that I read the headlines. Yes. And as long as the headlines don't include anything about like overly violent or murdery, I use them in the podcast. So when I read the article to you, I'm reading it for the first time. I didn't know that he got tased. I'm so happy. I shouldn't be happy. I shouldn't be happy that a man got tased. I realize that.
Well, I mean, you do.
In the same breath, what the fuck were you doing in the ceiling? And then he resisted arrest. He wouldn't. No, I'm not coming down. I've got my PlayStation.
What are you going to end up doing? Just leaving the ceiling like an ant?
Well, after he got tased, yeah. He probably seized up and fell out of the hole. Yeah. Which is what I wanted. The other week when we were talking about the Florida woman who bit the deputy and left a scar on his leg.
Yes.
I am all about swift justice, man. I'm learning that about myself. Like she won't comply with orders to stop biting him. Fucking shoot her in the foot or something, like non-vital. Like don't clip any of the arteries. Shoot her in the pussy. That's the phrase I used at the time. Also said equal if it was a dude doing it, shoot him in the nuts. Or the dick. Just shoot him in the general gonad area.
Yes.
When confronted, Florida man refused to come down. After numerous verbal assaults, he was tased and subdued. The unidentified Florida man was detained and taken to a hospital. Currently, there are no charges, pending a drug and mental evaluation.
Oh, well. It's Florida man. At this point, it could be either drugs or, mental breakness.
It could be mental. It's almost guaranteed to be mental in some degree. Yeah. Which is why I love it so much. I love just the idea of it. It's so stupid. Oh, my goodness. So we're going to go on to the next topic. So
bring it.
I recently, and Julian was incredibly hesitant to see the movie. I'm going to be reviewing the movie, the Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
All right. In my defense, I was still super worried about the movie because of the first trailer. Then the second trailer was far better that I actually was convinced to go and see it, but I still hesitated.
And rightfully so, because after that first one, it really is like, I don't think you guys know what the fuck you're doing. And honest to God, if they had never changed Sonic, I never would have gone to see the movie.
Yeah, same.
But
I haven't seen it, but now I want to see it. So
this is going to be a spoiler-free review, real quick. This is going to be spoiler-free, so I'm not going to give away anything. I'm going to give my general impressions of stuff. I'm going to tell you some stuff to look for, but nothing that's going to spoil the movie. But it is more or less kind of a paint-by-numbers kind of thing. It doesn't really break the mold on anything, so it's not like going over the top. The in-world mechanics of like how everything for Sonic works was very interesting. Actually, I had to say that and more importantly is that they kept true to what they had created so far. So like there was no weird thing that popped out of nowhere to save Sonic in the last second kind of thing. Like some weird like, oh, hey, Tails is in this movie too. And he just showed up last second to save Sonic. Like, no, that did not happen. So it creates a world where there's certain rules for like Sonic's powers and how the little rings, and I know in the trailers and stuff you see a ring and he throws the ring and it like teleports people. That is consistent. Like throughout the entire movie, nothing weird happens, nothing like alters anything. So it's consistent throughout the whole thing, and I like it.
Right.
And Jim Carrey is the type of character that he played Robotnik really well. Which is like, I'm not really a big Jim Carrey fan in the first place because I think he went off his rocker about 10 years ago, but he played Robotnik really well.
Well, he has his moment. He has his pass, and he was pretty well at most of the movies he was in. Like, most of them were comedies and stuff.
Yeah. And this is basically a buddy comedy, make no mistake, with some action thrown into it.
Right. Wait, why am I agreeing? I didn't see the movie yet. I'm becoming the thing that we hated last time. I'm becoming the yes man. I mean, I always been.
Yes, you are. You are a yes man. Yay. Yes, me. How you doing? So,
I'm doing bad.
You're doing better by agreeing with yourself now. Yay. Agreeing with yourself now. So the Sonic movie, I'm going to say this. I'm going to give it I'm going to tell you what my score is after the fact. Sonic movie, first of all, Sonic and the voice that they give Sonic is, I think this guy was the same guy that voiced Sonic in the cartoons. So I'm not 100% sure, but the voice fits. I'll tell you that. And no point do you go, this voice doesn't feel right for Sonic. Like it fits Sonic 100%. Sonic is very cute and adorable. And I would say overall pretty relatable as a character. He feels like he fits. They don't feel like they've like messed up his personality or anything. It feels like Sonic. This feels like Sonic. He's very happy-go-lucky. It's just one of those things where Sonic fits and it works well. And as far as Jim Carrey with Dr. Robotnik, which I touched on just a second ago, he did really well. And he's one of those characters that you hate the character. You hate him, but you love to hate him because he shows up and he's a giant asshole.
I mean, as long as it fits the quota of the original character.
Oh, yes. You can see him morphing from Jim Carrey as like playing a character to Robotnik, I'd say about halfway through, where Robotnik's characteristics and stuff start to pop out.
I mean, it's Jim Carrey, and he's well known for some erratic acting, like twitching and stuff. Yes,
he's very erratic. Yes, but I think overall I'd give him a B+ on how he handled things. He did really good. As far as the acting go, everybody was pretty good. There was no like anybody who really like drug down the scenes.
Okay.
There is a couple in the movie who are married that, as much as like I like the scenario and everything, but like I like the fact that, this married couple are trying to do this, that, and the other. And I'm not going to give spoilers away, but I never once believed the chemistry between the husband and the wife. Never once did I believe that. Like, oh, hey, you guys are married and you kissed like a couple of times on screen, but never once did I feel like it was passionate. Never once.
Oh boy.
You guys feel like roommates who kiss occasionally, but that's more of what it was like. So I don't know. I think that was just, I don't know. That could have been just the two actors just not really feeling like they could pull that off together. It could be anything, but most of the time that's definitely not the focus of the main thing. Sonic is definitely the focus of this movie, and they do it well. They do it well because it's fun, and the movie's fun. I'm going to say that. The movie is a fun movie. If you know anything about Sonic, if you enjoyed Sonic, not even love Sonic, but just enjoyed the games, I think you'll enjoy this movie. I genuinely do. They made him look really good. The way that Sonic moves and the way that they interact with Sonic, and it feels real. I like some of the jokes. Sonic was actually very funny. But it's one of those where, like, even if nobody's like laughing out loud, the movie still has your full attention the whole time. So you're engaged the entire time. And I think it's like an hour and a half, maybe an hour and 40 minutes.
Well, that's kind of short.
It's not really that long of a movie. And honestly, it was fun. If somebody else was like, hey, do you want to go see the Sonic movie? I'd be like, yeah, you know what? I'll go see it again. Yeah, 100%.
Wow.
I enjoyed it. It was fun. Some of the jokes. And I tell you what, there's a lot of video game references that they make to this.
Well, that's always a plus in my book.
Yes. And there was never, like I said, there was never any kind of MacGuffin that kind of like, oh, come on. They couldn't think of a way to make this work. So they got to come up with something to last second pop in and save the day. No, it was none of that. It was none of that at all. And honestly, I'd give the movie like a 7.5 out of 10.
Nice.
It was a good movie. It was fun. It was a fun movie. Me and my wife went and saw it, and like it's definitely not going to end up in my top 10. But if somebody, like I said, someone wanted to go to see it, I'm like, yeah, let's go see it. I enjoyed it. It was something that I wouldn't mind putting my money back into because, well, first, like I said, Sonic's fun. The whole thing's fun. There's so many game references. I grew up on Sonic. It works. It really does work. So yeah, if you haven't seen it and you have hesitations, I recommend going and checking it out. It's definitely worth the price of admission, especially on a matinee. I suggest you do it there. But I'm also cheap, so, you know, save your money whenever possible.
Would you say that this is a good example of a product improved upon the fans' demands, which kind of caused them to delay its release date?
This is an opportunity to show where listening to your audience, listening to your fan base, listening to the public can turn things around for a project, because they showed like, hey, first look at Sonic, and we're like, what is that abortion? Oh my God. Get that weird, Jesus Christ. No.
Like I said earlier, the first trailer was awful. Well, not awful. The design was awful, and the trailer was poor as best.
It was so bad.
Like,
it was an abortion. It was a video of an abortion.
I thought I was watching Sonic, not the Teletubbies.
Dude, the Teletubbies look more freaky than that. But I'll say this also, to its credit, while a lot of people thought it would it's a kid-friendly movie. I'll tell you that. There's no cussing in the movie. And my wife was like, yeah, kids could watch it. And I'm like, yeah, but adults could too. Like, it didn't feel like nothing was dumbed down for the sake of kids. And I'm proud to report, and this is just a tiny bit of a spoiler, there was only one fart joke in the entire movie. Only one.
Only one. Okay.
Only one. And then they wrote it off and they didn't talk about it ever again. I was like, thank you. There wasn't a buttload of chili dogs and fart jokes in this whole thing. It was fantastic. Thank you. Whoever wrote the movie actually knew Sonic. They had a decent amount of lore and knowledge under their belt. So I can say they knew what they were doing. And they had fun making the movie, especially with the new model. Just saying.
I mean, after the first reveal trailer, oh my God.
Oh yeah, they went back for like 6 months. They're like, we got to redo this shit.
Yep. And it's a good thing they did.
No, I think it was 4 months. I think they went back for 4 months. 3 or 4 months.
I don't
Whatever.
remember.
They put some more time into it, just like they freaking needed to.
Yes.
And it's going to come out. I think hold on, let me check that real quick. How much has Sonic made in its first week?
Oh, well, I mean, it's just 3 days ever since we're recording this in the February 17th.
Hey, would you look at that?
How much?
As of the recording date of this, Sonic the Hedgehog movie has grossed $70 million in the US and Canada and $43 million in other territories for a worldwide total of $113 million.
Nice, for 3 days and 3 days only. Oh my God. That's pretty good.
So the budget for the movie was $95 million.
Well, they already made a profit. Not too much
yet. They already made a profit on it.
Not too much, but they have made a freaking profit.
And if they were to make a sequel, they already have the model made and they know which one the fans like. So they don't have to do all that going back for 3 months and redoing it, which I guarantee was an increase in the budget.
Now, the question is, do you think they will make a sequel?
Yes.
Oh, boy.
And I can tell you this because there is an in-credit scene that definitely points to a sequel.
Oh, ho, ho, ho. Wow.
And it involves one of Sonic's besties.
I mean, it only makes sense. It keeps happening on each release on the Sega Genesis. If they're not adding characters, I'm just saying.
Yeah, but you don't know. It's not who you think it is. That's the thing.
Oh, God.
Ooh.
Oh.
See, I'm not spoiling anything.
It's going to be a list from Sonic 06. Fuck.
Fuck. I have no idea. Nobody out there but me knows what that means. Nerd. This is just like Leisure Suit Larry for you. Oh, my God. I made him jump off of a burning building. It's like, you're a nerd. Oh my God.
Of course I am.
So we've got like 2 more Florida Mans I'm going to touch on. So yeah, 7.5 out of 10. I would say it's a pretty good score.
Nice. I already had low expectations, so hearing that from you has to be very good. Has to be good.
It was good. It was a good, solid movie. I would see it again. 100%.
Nice.
So I opened up a new channel in the Discord that just says Florida Man, and I'm just pulling from there from now on because it's easier. And I'm like, anybody in the Discord that wants to drop a Florida Man or a Florida Man-like story, drop it in here because it helps considerably. All right, Florida Man. Florida Man pulls over, quote, officer to ask for direction, get busted for DUI.
DUI?
Driving under the influence. Means you were drunk while driving.
Oh.
An alleged drunk driver in Florida initially declined a breathalyzer test, telling a deputy, once again, deputies.
Damn it, deputies.
You don't hear cops. It's just all the deputies. On Sunday, you didn't pull me over. I pulled you over. Juan Zamora, 63, gave the puzzling response after flashing his headlights at a Marion County Sheriff's Deputy Squad car in Ocala in order to ask for directions to an auto parts store, an arrest report said. The deputy stopped and smelled alcohol coming from Zamora as he asked the question. The driver, who had a 15-year-old passenger, oh God, also had bloodshot eyes, the deputy noticed. And in his mugshot, yeah, he got some bloodshot eyes, bro. Zamora allegedly admitted to downing 2 shots of bourbon earlier that day. When he finally took the breathalyzer test, he failed, registering above Florida's 0.8 legal limit. Okay, whatever. Authorities later found a bottle of whiskey in his car and a white substance. While field test positive for cocaine. He had an open bottle of whiskey and some cocaine.
And a 15-year-old.
He was charged with DUI and cocaine possession. Oh, Florida man. He's like, hey, man, I need directions. What the fuck you mean I'm arrested?
Because Florida man. You don't negotiate with him. He negotiates with you.
So I got 1.5 more left for you. Florida man accused of impersonating state prosecutors sentenced to 10 years in prison. Christian Moscow tried to drop charges against himself.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well,
he impersonated state prosecutors, tried to get himself not arrested. A Volusia County man was sentenced to 10 years in prison Monday. He impersonated 2 assistant state attorneys and filing a false court document. The 7th Circuit Court State Attorney's Office and said Christian Moscow used the personal identification of 2 assistant state attorneys to file a no information document to try and drop charges against himself. The clerk's office thought the document seemed suspicious and contacted the state attorney. After an investigation, the 2 offices determined that the document was fraudulent. Daytona Beach Police Department obtained a search warrant of Moscow's computer and found the fake document. You delete that shit, man.
No, that's Florida man
Moscow
for you.
will remain behind bars on charges of 2 counts of falsely impersonating an officer, practicing law without proper authority, 2 counts of fraudulent use of personal identification information, the criminal process under color of law, and uttering a forgery. I don't know what the hell that last bit is. Moscow agreed to a plea deal, which also included previous charges of threats of extortion. The defendant, quote, the defendant employed threats, scams, and theft in an attempt to further his criminal plans. Well, to eliminate his criminal plans, actually. The state attorney R.J. Lazaria said in a news release, quote, had he used his talents for positive and law-abiding activities, he would not be on his way to a state prison system. This has been your no shit moment of the podcast. Had he
Had he
that's
not
the equivalent
done
of
it,
going,
yeah.
if he had not done illegal things and been caught, he wouldn't be going to jail. You just see, you know that star with the rainbow behind it that says the more you know?
Yes.
I think we should have if there was a visual, if there was like a sound that just goes, no shit. Just of course. Hey, did you know that most of the time, if you don't do illegal shit and don't break the law and don't get caught, that you won't go to jail? Did you know that?
I'm having flashbacks of this Fortnite player that used hacks and asked
But
for
I'm so
forgiveness.
sorry. No, you're sorry you got caught, you fat shit. It won't ever happen again. Yeah, because you're banned for life, you dumb fucker. That's how we know it's not going to happen. Anyway, we're getting off topic.
Yes.
So that was my second Florida man. I have a half Florida man because I do not have an article that follows this, but it's news. It was a news article and then it got turned into a meme.
Oh.
Man arrested for breaking into homes just to tickle people's anuses.
Okay.
Yep. Do you know what an anus is, Julian?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good, because you got really quiet.
No, I'm just like, oh Lord. Why?
Yeah, so the news headline officially says a man who was breaking into homes and tickling buttholes captured. Oh my God. Oh
Why
my
they're
God.
not wrong?
I'm just going to say, this dude, they got the mugshot on him and he's looking slightly off center. So he's looking just a little bit to the left of the camera. And he's like, motherfucker, stop me from tickling buttholes. He looks a little upset. He looks a little upset that he got captured. He apparently really had a trend for just tickling buttholes. And there's so many things on this podcast I get to say that I never once in my life thought that I'd be able to ever utter because it was never a fucking thought that crossed my mind. But like, man who was breaking into homes and tickling buttholes was finally captured on Tuesday. Like, that's not a thing I never thought I'd ever. That string of words was never ever uttered into fucking being before this man did it. That's
breaking
this
a
man
boundary.
made history.
Yep. That's making a
This
boundary.
man made
breaking
history.
a boundary. My
And
goodness.
it's fucking hilarious to me. Florida man. Actually, you know what? This actually doesn't say that it was Florida. But what's our rule on this podcast? You don't have to be from Florida.
Yeah.
You just have to have Florida man tendencies.
Yeah, just go around tickling freaking buttholes, as it's put in the freaking TV show news.
No. It's breaking into homes
Yeah.
to tickle buttholes. It's not like you're at the line at Walmart and you're like, tickle, 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 tickle. Like, no. I'm sorry, your brown eye looked like it could use a little tickle. You know, it's nothing like that. All right. So we're going to get on to our last topic. This is the part where I'm definitely going to start ranting. I know it. I ranted about it before we even started recording.
Yes,
so
you did.
I know I'm going to get into it. But here's the thing is that I understand that during this rant, depending on your perspective, I'm either going to be correct and I'm making a lot of good points, or I'm wholly incorrect and I'm making a lot of bad points. And I think this is going to come down to a lot of what your ideological perspective on this is. So I'm going to talk about white privilege. Okay, I'm just going to let that out there now. I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. I'm going to start talking about white privilege. This is actually a topic that I didn't really want to talk about because I think it's so divisive. So what spurred me on to talk about this is that I was accused of having white privilege the other day. And it got under my skin so much that it actually caused me to lose sleep.
Oh, Lord.
And it's because of the nature of accusing someone of having white privilege. So bear with me a moment. I'm going to explain my perspective, which is that I don't have white privilege, and I don't think the white privilege is a thing in general. And I'm going to explain why I think that. Now, as always, I'm going to put this out there now before I continue, is that if you disagree with that, or you've got a good argument for why that I'm not correct, please let us know. You can send it to the right amount of rant at gmail.com, or you can tell us on our brand new Twitter, which is official RAOR. On Twitter. Yeah, official. Brand new one. We still don't even have a banner because Julian forgot. But
No. I did not
good
forget.
news is-
I just got lazy. And I admit to that.
you just got lazy. Well, okay. Well, that's actually worse. That's worse, Julian. I'd rather you just forget. So it's there. You can let us know, hey, I disagree with this, but hey, thanks for the podcast. I can see your side at least. And that's the thing, is that it's not necessarily that we agree with one another. And that's the thing that a lot of people miss on these, like when we're discussing things that are difficult to discuss, especially when a lot of people don't want to talk about political things. I don't want to talk about political things, although I kind of do a lot. That's not the point. My point here is that it's not necessarily agreeing with the other person. That doesn't have to be your end goal. And your end goal doesn't have to be to convince the other person that you're right or that they're wrong. It just needs to be to listen. Because if you listen to me rant about what I'm about to rant about, and you at least understand where I'm coming from, that can make the next time that you have a conversation with someone, you can address what is likely to be implicit thoughts about this, about white privilege and whatnot, in a way that it makes sense to them, and you're able to make your argument a little bit better, or maybe it softens your argument and you see that the perspective of the actual individual over the mass broad brushing of an entire group. And that's the thing. Once again, I value the individual significantly over the group. So when people go, hey, you're a white person, I go, the fuck does that have to do with anything? I'm still me. I guarantee there's black people out there that have the exact same attitude that I do. I guarantee there are. Indian, Asian, name it. So, you know what? Honestly, I'm going to say this. To get into the white privilege stuff, I'm going to say this. And one of the things that pissed me off the most about being told that, me and my boss and another person at work were talking about something. And my boss was saying that whenever he goes into a certain area of town, he always has his gun on him.
Oh,
because
goodness.
he's very nervous about being in that area of town. And this other individual also said that whenever they are in that area of town, and then they said something to the effect of like, not to be that type of person or anything, but which is just like, this is a segue for racism. And
oh boy,
they go, but I lock my doors and I speed up a little bit when I drive through that area of town. I honestly didn't know what area of town they were talking about. Although they said the name of my city that I live in.
Oh, Lord.
And I was just like, I've lived here my whole life. And they're both from another state. So like they come to my state across a bridge and whatnot. And so Kentucky, here, I'll just fucking say it. They live in Indiana. I live in Kentucky. So they're like, whenever I have to come to Louisville, like the city that I live in, I'm just giving away all the fucking information. When they come to Louisville, like when he has to go anywhere in the metro of Louisville, he's like, I bring my gun.
Oh my
and I'm like,
God.
I've walked around downtown late at night. Like without, like, I never once thought that I was going to get jumped.
I mean, I've been around in your area. I don't think it is a dangerous place at all.
And that's my perspective as well. And the other individual said, well, that's your white privilege. And I just said, why? Because I don't feel threatened? And you go, yeah, you don't recognize that other people feel threatened in that area. So that's your white privilege. I said, that has nothing to do with my color. Rather than get into it, I just explained real quick. I grew up around guns. If I saw someone walking around with a concealed carry, okay, in this state, concealed carry is legal. That person is doing a legal activity. What the hell do I have to fear? If that man had a rifle over his shoulder and walked around with open carry, that's legal. They can do that. I'm not worried about those people. I have no fear toward those people because they're doing what the law tells them they can do.
Would you say you'd be more worried about the people that have their weapon hidden from sight?
Well, there's even a thing called concealed carry, but you usually have to have like special, permissions and whatnot to have that. But even then, if I think you're doing a legal concealed carry, I'm not going to be fucking worried. I don't give a damn what color of skin you have. So I think it's really weird that it's my white privilege because I'm not nervous around downtown where my boss is like, I got to carry my gun because I don't trust any of those people. And I'm just like, but like, I have nothing. I don't care. Like I can walk around downtown, no problem. And I understand that to a certain degree, some people are like, well, that's your white privilege. And I'm just like, but is it? Is it really a privilege to not feel nervous? Or is that thing that Julian was talking about before on another podcast where white people have simply been too stupid and they've evolved to not have fear? Is that what that is?
That could be a possibility. I'm not saying no.
It's possible. But I've grown up around guns. I've grown up around guns a long time. So it doesn't I know the laws when it comes to guns. If you're using a gun lawfully, I have nothing to fear. If I see that you have a gun on your back and you're open carrying a rifle, no fear. I have no fear whatsoever. I'm a little cautious. I'm like, what the fuck you got that gun for? But I'm not really. I don't care. If we got to go to the fucking DMV and he's got his gun, I'm like, okay, that's fine. Whatever.
That's another Tuesday.
It's not. It's actually kind of rare, but I mean, but he's doing something legal. He's not doing anything illegal. And we can argue whether or not that should be legal. That's an entirely different subject. But the point is that I don't see him as a threat like that. Now, if he pulls the gun off his shoulder or out of his holster, fuck, that's a different thing because that's intent to use. I don't want to be around somebody who has the intent to use the gun.
Yeah, maybe they're actually scared of them using the gun, given the fact that they still have it on them.
Well, for me, you know what? That's the thing, though, is that they're like, when I go downtown, which is primarily black people, then they're like, I have to have my gun on me. And I'm like, I get that you feel unsafe. And to a certain extent, I feel like I need to move in certain directions. And I like, don't fuck with anybody down there because people down there can get a little testy. And some of them do have guns. But I don't believe any of them are just going to whip out the gun and shoot some random guy on the street. I don't believe that.
Well, maybe.
Now, has it happened? Absolutely. Am I stupid to that fact? Yeah, probably. I guarantee some people have randomly shot other people. Yes, 100% sure. In fact, we know it to be a fact because it happens all the damn time.
Oh my.
And that's a sad statistic that we live with. The thing is that I don't see how that's white privilege. And it really, really bothered me because, wait, you mean because I'm not the one judging these people for being, potentially dangerous because of the area they live in? How is that privilege? I gotta tell you this, if I walked around the worst area in the ghetto as a white man, there ain't no fucking privilege there. Guess what? I stick out like a sore thumb and they're gonna go fuck with the white boy because I'm the fucking oddball out. That's why. But if I was black walking around the ghetto, I'd probably feel just the smidgen better because I don't stick out so much. That would be a thing. There's nothing that I can do as a white guy, even if I dress thug as shit and I go to the ghetto. Fuck no. Ain't gonna fucking happen. They're still gonna fuck with me. I don't know how far they're gonna fuck with me, but they're gonna fuck with me because of the skin color I have. So no, I don't think it's white privilege to not feel afraid of these. Now, when I get pulled over by a cop, and this is often the example a lot of people give, it's like when you get pulled over by a cop, do you feel like the cop is gonna take you to jail? I go, yeah, every fucking time. Yeah, every fucking time. And they're like, well, you're supposed to have white privilege. You're not supposed to feel like you're not going to go to jail. I don't feel like I'm going to get out of the ticket. I promise you. Every time I felt like cops have dicked me over on tickets on a number of times.
Oh my.
So no, I don't feel like the cops are on my side on that. Cops are, not every cop. I want to make that clear. Not every cop. Some cops. Oh, okay.
Rewind.
I'm going to say this. Most cops do the right thing, or they try to do the right thing. Most cops try to do the right thing. And what the right thing is from moment to moment can change. That does not in any way negate poor decision making or anything like that. So I want to preface with that. That being said, some cops are intentional assholes. Some cops let the power go to their head. I think that's universally true. I think anyone that you give power, there's always a chance that that power corrupts them. In fact, I would say more often than not, especially the more power you get, the more likely it is to corrupt you, so on and so forth. But I don't think most cops or sheriffs or what have you are bad people. I think that they genuinely try to do the right thing most of the time. They're also often put in life and death situations where someone could suddenly have a gun and shoot them. So they have to be overly cautious and they have to make split-second decisions with limited information. And it sucks sometimes if the outcome turns out how the outcome turns out. I'll say that. With that said, no, fuck getting pulled over. Fuck when the cops pull me over and they give me a ticket for some shit. I got pulled out of my car roughly a couple of times when I was answering questions by the cops.
But why did they pull you over?
One time is because one of my tires didn't quite fit right. It was sealed properly, but it looked like it was going to wobble off. Everything was fine, but it looked like it was going to wobble off. And they pulled me over. It's like, what's going on with your wheel back here? And I go, oh, yeah, no, I'm actually trying to save up money to get that repaired. He goes, is it safe to drive? And I go, so far, I've been driving for about 2 weeks on it, and it has not given me any issues, and I almost have the money to get it fixed. He goes, oh, all right, well, here's a ticket. I was like, you son of a bitch.
Wow, that is dickish.
I'm trying to get it fixed, and I don't have the money, so you're going to make me pay more money to you to get it fixed? Like that's an arena where you go, all right, well, look, I'm just going to give you a warning, but I'm going to put this in the, the database. You need to get your tire fixed. And if we ever pull you over again, the tire's not fixed, then just so you know, like that's understandable.
Yeah, no, they went all the way and then give you the ticket.
Hell no. I paid a $200 ticket on that shit.
Goodness gracious.
The tires didn't cost me that much. Yeah.
Again, goodness gracious.
Fuck that guy. For something I was like, dude, I need to get it fixed. I don't have the money. I'm actually on my way to college right now. Could you?
I mean, to be fair,
of course I didn't look at the cop and I didn't say this shit. The thing is it's like, I don't expect to get away with anything when the cops pull me over. And some people are like, well, you feel safe when the cops pull you over. No, the fuck I don't. I think I'm going to jail every fucking time. Every time.
Oh, yeah.
For various reasons. But I never think like, oh, I'm going to get out of this. No, I feel like I might go to jail.
Well, you got to.
Do I have white privilege?
You had a $200
Doesn't sound
ticket.
like it. Doesn't sound like it. Every single time I've been pulled over, I've gotten a ticket.
Oh, goodness.
There's never once where I haven't. And there's been twice when I almost did go to jail, and I don't know why I didn't.
What?
Some would say white privilege, but let me paint a little picture for you. It's late at night. I'm tired. I wasn't speeding. A cop pulls me over. The cop gets smart with me, and I bite my tongue, and I just answer the yes or no questions. And he's not happy with my level of involvement with his question answerings. So he pulls me forcibly from the car, puts me on the roof, like bangs my head against the roof, tells me to spread my legs. He's going to search the car. And I say, no, you're not going to search my car. I have a God-given right for you not to search my car. He says, all right, I'm going to wait for my backup to show up. And then I make him wait for backup. Guess what?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. I have 3 cop cars surrounding me while they search my car and find nothing but McDonald's bags because they thought that I looked like a meth head. Let me tell you what, one of the side effects of doing meth a lot is being very thin. Never heard of a fat meth head. Not sure what the fuck what they're looking for. The point is that they pulled me over. He didn't like me, so he tried to do all this shit. Could I have gone to jail? Yeah. At that point, I 100% expected to go to jail because I expected them to pull some nefarious shit. I really did. Because this was some over-the-top shit. And I was still being compliant. I was like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But he could tell I was not happy with him. He's like, oh, you don't like that, do you, motherfucker? It's like, I wish I could see your ass.
They just had the need to being dicks.
Yeah. These are the types that are like fucking bullies. Once again, not all cops. Hashtag. But here's the thing. The article that I just basically read over talked about how white privilege talks about all these things and how white privilege leads to racism and all that stuff. And I'm just like, one of the things I think about, and one of the things, it wasn't that I was accused of white privilege, because that can just be someone not really understanding me or how I am and all this other stuff. And once again, evaluating the individual over the group. I don't look at groups. I look at individuals. And it really deeply bothered me that I was accused of this, not because I was accused of it, but because they didn't understand who I was. And I kept thinking about Julian. Okay. I kept thinking about Julian, and like, if Julian, one of the things that we're trying to do is trying to get Julian to the United States because we want him to be a part of our American family. We want him to be, to live here because I think he would prosper well. He's a great guy. And we're trying to do that. So if Julian was here, and for those that don't know, Julian lives in Argentina. Julian is Latino with like just a hint of German thrown in there. He's Latino. He's bam.
German?
Yeah. Didn't you say you had some German mixed in there?
No, that was Italian.
Oh, my apologies. Italiano. My apologies. He's got a little bit of Italiano mixed in there. If he came to the United States, do you know what they're going to immediately assume he is? Fucking white. Hardcore white. Because this man is as pale as I am. He looks, Julian, absolutely no offense intended.
No problem.
You look white. You look white. Does that offend you?
No.
Good.
Should it?
I don't know. I don't think so. Because I don't think that, and I had this discussion with my wife too, and I was just like, if Julian was here and they like tried to, well, that's your white privilege right there. I'm like, he's not white, bitch. He's not white. Julian's not white. But I guarantee if you came here and you encountered one of these people, they would think that you're white, so they're going to assume you have white privilege. So I'm just like, you're making a lot of assumptions based on his skin color. You're making a lot of assumptions based on my skin color. And you're just assuming shit about me because you think that I fit into a particular grouping. Well, I hate to point this out. No one fits into a perfect grouping. No one.
Wouldn't you say that is being racist?
Yes, I do. I do think it's being racist. And I think it's really strange because I had this conversation with my wife because it made me doubt a couple things. I asked my wife a couple things. I was just like, baby, do you think I'm racist? And of course, my wife being my wife, she said, no, baby, I don't think you're racist. And I told her, I've been having a really hard time sleeping because of this.
My goodness.
And it's because, and I was just thinking, it's like Julian, who has been a major part of my streaming and my YouTube and whatnot. I have done a lot of stuff with Julian. I've had a fantastic time with Julian. I was thinking, like, do I care what color he is? It's like, no. Because when I asked him to be a moderator on my Twitch channel, I had no idea what the fuck color he was. I didn't know what color he was at all. Like, if he had said I'm from South Africa or from fucking Somalia or anything, but he was Julian, I wouldn't give a shit what color you are. You're that guy that I do stuff with and I have a fun time with. I don't care what color you are. So it was one of those things where I had to remind myself, like, am I racist? Like, does this have any validity to it? And I thought about it for a long time. And like I said, it impeded my sleep. because it genuinely bothered me. And it genuinely bothered me. And I finally come to the conclusion it bothered me because of the assumptions that other people made about me. It wasn't me I was being judged, but they were the ones doing the judging. They were passing judgment on me based on very little information and me as a whole. They were trying to wrap me into a group mentality. I don't have a group mentality. I hate to say that. If a whole lot of people start thinking one way, I analyze why in the hell is everybody agreeing with this? Like, that's what I try to do. I break shit down. I try to understand why something is rather than just going along with the flow of things. And it really bothered me. I haven't lost sleep since because I've come to the conclusion and all these things. And I'm going to ask Julian, and I know Julian's on the podcast right now. If he says no, then this is going to be a little weird. But Julian, do you think that if you were any skin color other than what you are, do you think I would have treated you differently?
Personally, no.
Okay. And why do you think that?
Because, well, first off, you already stated that you don't judge people by their color.
Yes, but a lot of people can say that. But,
yes.
It's like, oh, I'm definitely not racist. I love blacks. And I'm just like, they're not people. You just call them blacks. You see that shit? Yeah. So, but that's the thing is that, like, I try to judge the person based on what they do and how they handle themselves. And I think I've judged you based on how you handle yourself. But please, go ahead. Please tell me.
Yeah, no, basically that. You judge me for what I did and basically how I interacted with your stream and stuff like that. I never told you the color of my skin, and I don't think that would have made any difference even back then.
I don't think it would have made any difference to me either. I mean, like, I think I made you a moderator on my channel. I asked you to be a moderator on my channel before you ever did, like, your first Dare video.
Yes.
I think. So I had no idea what the fuck you looked like, and it didn't bother me. Like, you could be from Somalia, you can be from Afghanistan, you can be from Canada, you can be from Argentina. It didn't matter to me at all because I liked you. I thought you were a fun guy, and I'm not talking about mushrooms.
That is my game.
That is your, yes, I threw that in there for you. But it's one of those things, like, I like people. I don't like groups. That's it. And it really bothered me that this person judged me because of their impression, which, by the way, they're also white. So that was really weird.
Wow. Yeah, I was actually going to ask, who actually said that? The people who asked this, were they white people?
Yes. And I don't think white privilege is real. I still to this day don't believe the white. Now, is it possible? Yes. I think to some degree that there is some possible ways in which white people get a leg up over other groups. And I also think that, but it's entirely situational to me. I also think that in other, depending on where you are in the world and depending on, what literal area you're in, and by area, I mean like neighborhood and shit, the dynamics on who has control and who has power changes dramatically. I've given you the example of like, if I went to Harlem, for example, guess who's going to stand out like a fucking sore thumb?
You.
Me. Would I feel a little awkward? Yeah, I would. Do you know why?
Because you stand out.
Because I'm going to stand out like a sore thumb. It's not because there's black people or Latino people or whoever the fuck is in Harlem.
It doesn't matter the people who are in. Is the fact that you stand out in a possibly negative way.
Yes. And it would be in a negative way because it would be, and I've explained this in a previous podcast where it's not that I'm worried about the people that I'm around. It's that I'm worried about how I'm supposed to behave. And I don't want to stand out. Nobody who's introduced to a new group of people wants to stand out in a negative way. And when you're thrown into an area where you're not used to the culture that surrounds you, you don't know anybody there. So you have no sort of lifeline to land back on. If I were suddenly thrown into Harlem, I have no lifeline like that. I have no knowledge of like the area or anything like that.
Yeah, you would be uncomfortable.
Guess what I have to do? I'm going to be incredibly uncomfortable because I'm going to stand out and I don't know how to interact with anybody. Like I can be super professional and very uptight. Guess what? That's just going to draw more attention. Now, if I go try to mimic their local language, that sounds horrible. Holy shit. I'm sorry. If I try to mimic the way that they talk in Harlem, like their slang and whatnot, then it's just going to feel awkward. It's like, hey, what's up, G homie dog? That's, wow, you fucking white, bro. You need to fuck off with that. No, just speak like you normally speak. That's the problem is that there's an area where you're like, I don't know how to interact with these people, but it's a negative all around, but it's not an intended negative. Like I would do everything I can to be personable and to interact in a positive way. But it's going to take a lot of negative learning experiences to get to a point where I can interact and feel comfortable. That's all it is. Like if Julian suddenly moved to the U.S., there's going to be a bit of culture shock. He's going to have to get used to how everybody around him normally does their things and learn to kind of weave in and out of that. That's something that Julian would have to do as well, right? Am I wrong in that?
You're absolutely right. I was kind of petrified at first. I'm not gonna lie.
And that's why we did a lot of stuff with you. So you'd have what I refer to as that lifeline. Or like you have somebody you could ask questions and shit to.
It was a wonderful experience. Yes.
But that's my point, is that doesn't make anybody there racist against white people if they find me awkward. And it doesn't make me racist for being awkward around them because I feel uncomfortable because I don't know how to navigate those social waters. It's one of those things where you are and who you're talking with in that moment is going to make all the difference. It's not, some people are like, oh, well, if you're white, you're more likely to get hired. Are you sure? Are you sure?
That ain't true.
It's affirmative action says that they have to hire a certain number of people that aren't white and aren't male. So that kind of goes against me as being a white male. I don't get any of those check marks checked off. So also, if somebody who's hiring at a business and they only have one spot left and they're like, okay, well, you know what? Adam did really good. His interview was very positive. He has the skills we need, but so does Monica over here. She has all the skills we need. You know what? I think we have enough white guys in here. I think I'm going to hire Monica. Well, but why? I mean, was it just because she's a woman?
Because of the color of the skin?
See, I didn't mention her skin color for a reason because it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no.
Or it could matter. To the person hiring, it could matter. Maybe they do need to check off another one of those boxes for affirmative action. But more importantly, it's like in a scenario like that where if me and another person who is not white and is not male give very good interviews, both have the identical credentials, I think it should come down to like a second interview or like a trial, like on-job trial to see exactly how well we adapt and whatnot to kind of test the waters. But if your immediate response is, well, let's go ahead and pick the female because it fits in. And that's how I feel it would go. I genuinely feel like if it was between me and like a woman person of color, which by the way, that the phrase person of color is the most fucking retarded statement I've heard in a long time. Back during Jim Crow laws, side rant. The thing is that back during Jim Crow laws, when you had segregation, whites had certain water fountains, blacks had other ones. When you had white toilets and black toilets, all that kind of stuff. When you had segregation like that, guess what? Guess what black people and other people who were not white were called? They were called colored people. Okay?
Wow. Okay.
Why in the hell are we going people of color? Oh, is that suddenly a good term now? If I slip and call you colored people, is that wrong? Let me give you an example of why this is stupid. Okay, I need everybody to perk up their ears and listen for a second. This is stupid because if let's say I have a shoe that I use for running. Okay. I have a shoe that I use for running. You could call that a running shoe, or if you're feeling awkward with your English, you can say shoe of running.
It's still the same thing. Yes.
It's the same thing. You're just swapping the words and putting the word of in between. If you're playing a video game and you have a invisibility mask or you have a mask of invisibility, guess what? It's literally the same fucking description. Nothing has changed except the order of the words. So when you say people of color, you're literally just saying colored people, which I'm like, we're not supposed to say that anymore. That was mean. Why are people saying that again?
Are people saying that anymore?
Yeah. No, I don't know if anybody's saying colored people anymore, but people are actively saying people of color.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense to me. So, like I said, I read over this whole thing and I'm just like, and a couple of things, one of the things that they end up mentioning, they were like, and this is all fact. And I'm like, I don't think any of it is. Because if you look at people and not groups, you're going to see where I'm coming from. If you look at groups and not people, you're going to disagree with what I'm saying. And unfortunately, if you look at the world as groups and not people, we can have a discussion, but you and I are not going to agree. I promise you that. Because fundamentally, I look at the individual. I say, what does that individual have? You know what one of my criteria isn't? What color is that individual's skin? I don't care. Are you a good person? Are you a good person to me? Like, can we have fun together? Are you, like all these things are things that I respond to. I don't give a shit what your color is. And I think it's really sad that a lot of people have to rope people into groups saying, like, why does everybody think white people are rich? Like, I don't understand it. There are more white people on welfare in America than there are black people on welfare in America by a significant degree. And like, I grew up in a trailer park. I grew up for like the first 6 years of my life. I lived in a trailer park, which is, pretty low on the end of things. Not to disrespect anybody who lives in trailer parks. They have come a long way in their designs and interiors and whatnot. But at the time that I lived in them, they were kind of the low end of the housing.
Oh, my.
My parents were very poor. My dad worked 2 jobs for a very long time. So I understand what it means to be poor, not like disparagingly poor. I want to make that clear. I understand some people had it worse than me. I'm not ever going to claim that I had it the worst, but I sure as shit didn't have it easy. I remember many times where I didn't have the opportunity to get stuff that I wanted or needed because we didn't have that money. So, but the point of all this is that not to bring too much of a downer to it, but the point of all this is that please value the individual over the group. The group as a whole does not love you. They never will love you. There's no group as a whole that will love you because the group identity follows the flow of whatever moment it's currently in. The individual, however, can love you. The individual can understand and respect you. The group cannot. Nobody ever likes mob mentality because it's very bad. Do you know what you can't have if you're an individual? Mob mentality. Because you think for yourself. And that's basically what I'm telling you to do. Think for yourself. Just the skin color, my skin color did not make your day worse. My actions may have. I may have been an asshole to you. That's entirely possible. It's not because I'm white. It's because sometimes I'm an asshole. So yeah, there's your downer rant for the week. All right. And once again, this was the makeup podcast for the week because I did miss on Saturday. I do apologize about this. This one will be going up a little late, but we will do another one this coming Saturday. So hopefully you guys and gals have stuck with me through all this. Once again, if you agree with me, hey, great. If you didn't, great as well. We're thankful for you all for being here. If you do have thoughts on that, drop us a comment. Let us know at rightamountofrant@gmail.com or at official RAOR, which right amount of rant. So official RAOR. I kind of wish it was official right of amount rant because then I could spell roar in the wrong way of spelling roar. So, but no, it's official RAOR, right amount of rant there. Apparently I can't put right amount of rant as one long tag because it won't let me. It won't let me. There's not enough letters allowed in the name.
How dare you, Twitter?
How dare you, Twitter? So yeah, let us know. Let us know at that spot, and we will do our best to get back to you in one way or another. As long as you're, once again, my one rule is be respectful. I'm respectful of your opinions most of the time. Be respectful of ours, specifically mine in this one. Just if you come to me and tell me how I was wrong and this is why you think I was wrong, and you make a good case and you're respectful, guess what? I'm going to read it from one individual to another. I'm going to read it, and I'm probably going to respond to it, and we're going to learn something from each other, even if we don't end up agreeing. If you're an asshole, like I said last time, I'm going to make fun of you. I'm going to delete it, and I'm going to talk shit about you on the podcast next time. So that's how that goes, because I have a podcast and you're listening to it right now. Anyway, friends, you have been fantastic. Julian, my wonderful co-host, has been here and just listening to me rant for the last 20 minutes in dead silence. Good job, Julian.
I still enjoy my time in here.
I know you do, buddy. I really do. I appreciate you letting me get this off my chest and whatnot. So, yeah. So, all right, friends, make sure you catch us again at our normal time. You're going to get it this Sunday by noon. Same rant time, same rant channel. And as always, friends, stay awesome.